Check out our new sponsors, the Gatekeeper. It's a great family-run local game store boasting Australia's biggest selection of MTG singles. Use the coupon code The Eternal Gathering to get 5% off store-wide. Check their site out in the link below. G'day everyone, welcome to The Eternal Gathering. The Gathering here with another podcast, and we're going to do it solo today. No other co-host today, unfortunately, but you got yours truly, The Gathering here, and we're going to go through Innistrad Crimson Vow, the new set coming out for Magic the Gathering. We're going to be breaking it down with a bit of a rundown of what new mechanics are in this set. The returning mechanics are going to be Disturb and the double-sided flip of Daybound, Nightbound as well. But we're going to go through the new kind of mechanics for Innistrad. We're also going to do a top 5 cards from the set. These are just the 5 cards that I'm interested in. And the cards that I think might see some play somewhere. An honorable mention will be in there as well. Before we get started, the Gatekeeper, our sponsors, they are opening up their store for gaming. So you can go in from pre-release, actually the week before pre-release. So the week starting on the 8th of November, that week we're going to be able to have games be played. So if you want to play through Magic the Gathering, I think they got Pokemon and all that kind of stuff, Flesh and Blood. You can go in store, look at the site online. There's a link below, or also their Facebook page to check out when the events are happening. But it's really good to be able to go back into stores again since we've been in lockdown for quite a while here in Sydney, and it'd be good to get some games in paper again. Always, like, share, subscribe if you can for the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. We've also got our own Facebook page. If you can join that, we usually put up videos there every now and again, and put some other things up there for those people that follow that page, such as like codes, pre-release codes sometimes get put up there and whatnot, and giveaways and stuff like that. So let's get into maybe first, before get fully into it, what I thought about Innistrad Crimson Vow. The squads just finished today. Overall, not super impressed. If I'm being honest, I preferred Midnight Hunt. I think Midnight Hunt had the better overall card pool. But then again, that's just my opinion. That's what I feel. It's still some cool cards here and there from Crimson Vow, but I preferred the Midnight Hunt. There's definitely some good cards in Crimson Vow, and we're going to be speaking about them. And the draft environment might be better. We don't know. I haven't played it yet. But overall impressions is, out of the 2 Innistrad sets, I'm leaning more on a Midnight Hunt being my favorite out of those 2. All right, so let's get started with our mechanics. And we're going to go with our first mechanic here, Exploit. So this is a returning mechanic. It's not a brand new one. We've seen it in Khan's attack here. Exploit is a ability that you get whenever you sacrifice a creature. So an example here is Graph Reaver. It's 1 and a black for a 3/3 zombie warrior. As Exploit, when this creature enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a creature. And if you exploit a creature, you get to destroy target planeswalker. Otherwise, regardless of exploiting or not, at the beginning of your upkeep, Graph Reaver will do 1 damage to you. So a way to be able to have a creature that can double up as a spell in a way to destroy a planeswalker. The worst case scenario, you sacrifice it to itself. You can always sacrifice it to itself to get that ability. But it's always good if you have some tokens or some creatures that aren't really relevant anymore. You can exploit them to use the ability. And Exploit is on many different cards here in this set, and they all have a different ability. It's not just destroy a planeswalker. They all got different abilities if you exploit. Otherwise, a 3/3 body on 2 mana is not too bad. Blood tokens. Blood tokens are a new thing. They're artifact tokens, and you see here with Blood Craze Socialite, 3 and a black, a 3/3 Menace Vampire. When it enters the battlefield, you create a blood token, and that's an artifact with 1 mana tap to discard a card, sacrifice the artifact, and draw a card. So you're kind of like rummaging there. And then This also has the ability, whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice a blood token, and if you do, it gets +2/+2 into turn turn. The blood tokens can be used just to discard and draw a card, or they can be used to be able to be played with other cards that care about blood tokens. So some cards might need you to have a certain amount of blood tokens before something happens. Other ones say it does this if there is a blood token on the battlefield, or you can sacrifice blood tokens for other abilities of creatures or whatnot. They're just kind of more vampire-centric mechanic here. We've got Cleve. We'll go through this. This inspired idea. It's 2 in a blue, but you can also pay its Cleve cost, which is 3 in a blue. It's an alternate cost. And if you cast it for its Cleve cost, you remove the words in square brackets. So if you paid 3 mana for this, you get to draw 3 cards, and then your maximum hand size is reduced by 3 for the rest of the game. So that would be your maximum hand size will be 4 for the rest of the game. But if you pay the 5 mana, you get to still draw 3 cards, and that's it. You just draw 3 cards. No drawback of having your maximum hand size reduced by 3. So Cleve, it is a bit clunky in a way it's being executed, but I like the idea of it. I like the idea that you can get a bit more if you pay a bit more. You're still going to draw 3 cards for 3 mana. If you want to go that route, but if you don't want to reduce your hand size for whatever reason, you can get rid of that clause by paying 5 mana instead. And Cleve can do that for many different card types. Usually sorceries and instants, I think. That's what it comes with. But there's different things that can happen. This is just one example here. Training. Training is a bit like Mentor. That's what I kind of reminds me of. Here we've got Save of Ollenbock, 1 and 2 white for a 1/2 human soldier with training. And whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And then usually when you train, something else happens. In this case, whenever this creature trains, you exile to one other target creature from the battlefield or a creature card from a graveyard. And then when this leaves the battlefield, note the leaves the battlefield, you get to put exile cards on a battlefield under their owner's control. So this can be played to get rid of some creatures on your opponent's side. So you can attack in with this and get rid of their biggest defender. Or you can kind of reanimate in a way, get some cards out of your own graveyard, for example. And then when this leaves the battlefield, whether you flicker it, whether it gets exiled, whether it dies, either way, if anyone gets rid of this, you're going to get something back. If you've attacked with it, obviously. And you can reanimate something. So you can put something like, for example, a Ulamog in your graveyard, the Ceaseless Hunger, and then exile it with this guy, blink it, you get Ulamog onto the battlefield. That's an example there for you. Training in overall, I think it's a bit of a weak mechanic. You need to have another creature on the battlefield already that's stronger than Savior of Ellenborg, or stronger than the training creature you have. And then you have to attack with both of them, hope that your guy stays alive as well, for the most part, and then get some abilities off it. Not the greatest mechanic, I think, there, but nonetheless, some interesting ways to play around with this particular card. All right, so those are the mechanics. And now we're going to go into the top 5 cards of the set. Again, these are just cards that I find to be the most interesting. No right or wrong answer here. We're going to do an honorable mention, though. And my honorable mention is going to be Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, which, if you don't know, is a 1 and a white, 2/1 first strike legendary human soldier. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. The thing here, reason why I got honorable mention, it's a reprint. It's seen play already in Modern. It's seen play in Standard and Past. It's seen play even in Legacy. The thing here is it hasn't been printed into Pioneer yet, and it's going to be the first time it's in Pioneer. What does that mean? I'm not too sure. I'm not really sure where this will go in Pioneer at the moment, but it's good to have in the format and a good option, whether or not a deck comes from it, or later in its life cycle, it will be played in Pioneer. I'm sure it will. It's got the legs. We know it's proven to be a good card. So interesting to see what it does, if it does anything in Pioneer. I think it will. I'm not sure initially if it will, but eventually it will find a home somewhere. So that is our honorable mention. Now let's go to our top 5. We have number 5, Cemetery Gatekeeper. This is part of a cycle. Each color has a gatekeeper. And this is a not gatekeeper, a cemetery, sorry, a cemetery something. This is 1 in a red, 2/1 first strike. Vampire, non-legendary. When it enters the battlefield, you exile a card from the graveyard. So all these cemetery cards exile cards from the graveyards. And then whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, Cemetery Gatekeeper deals 2 damage to that player. This does it for you as well, which is a little bit of a drawback. I think if it was only your opponent, it'd be a much better card. But you can play this. It's very reminiscent of Eidolon of the Great Revel. Eidolon is a better card overall because that deals damage to any spell 3 mana or less, 2 damage to both players. This one, it's only got 1 card type, whether that's a creature, instant sorcery, artifact, whatever it might be. So you might not be able to hit something in a graveyard that's relevant for the matchup. Maybe it's going to hurt you a bit more than it'll hurt your opponent. But the first strike is good. It's aggressive card, I think. It might see some play in standard, maybe see some play in Pioneer in the right kind of strategy, in the right kind of deck. But I think the 2/1 body and first strike is pretty cool. And you can have multiple of these cards on the battlefield. So if you have, this one, you play another one, you get another card out of the graveyard. All of a sudden, creatures and lands that are played do damage to each player. And if you can try and mitigate that damage to you or be more aggressive and deal more damage to your opponent, then the 2 damage that this deals will be more relevant for your opponent, I guess. Number 4 we have here is a double face card with Disturb, Mirror Hall Mimic that goes into Ghastly Mimic Cry. This is Spirit 0/0, but when it enters the battlefield, it enters as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. And it's a spirit initiative side type, so it can be a creature that your opponent has. It doesn't be a creature that you control. That's pretty cool. I like this because sometimes when you play those copy creature spells, they only want to target one of your own creatures, but it's going to target any creature on the battlefield. And the good thing also here is that it enters it as a copy of that, so any ETBs that it gets from that copy will be relevant. And the Disturb is pretty interesting. 5 mana only to enchant a creature, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you create a token that's a copy of the enchanted creature. And it's a spirit again, additional status type. So you can, I know you got to survive until your upkeep, or that creature's going to survive. But if you get this out and keep it on that creature for a couple of turns, you're going to get a lot of value out of it, and you're going to choose possibly card that has ETB value. So I think having this as a double face, it's a really cool card. Definitely can see playing Commander. Whereas he's playing in more constructed formats like Modern, Pioneer. I'm not too sure about that standard, possibly standard. But definitely a really cool card. I really like it. Definitely will be playing this in my Commander deck where I copy things. I think it's a really good copy spell. Or copy creature spell, sorry. Number 3, Maniform Hellcat. 2 and 2 red for a 4/4 flying dragon. So really good stats already. And then whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get to create an XX red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste. Pretty good. Where X is the amount of mana spent to cast a spell. But you have to exile that token at the beginning of your next end step. Still pretty good because you get this out, you're playing non-creature spells, you're going to get a creature that has haste and flying, some invasion there too, that you can attack in straight away. You don't care if it dies or not because it's going to die at the end or get exiled at the end of the end step. Definitely can see playing standard, I think. The standard has that is a dragon deck. Commander,
you play a lot of big non-creature spells, this can do extra damage for you. Pioneer, possibly a card that you could see some Pioneer play. Modern, too slow, and most of your spells are less than 3 mana, 4 mana, so you're not going to get a lot of damage through. But interesting card nonetheless. I think it will see some play somewhere or other. I like this card very, very much. We'll see what it does. Now, number 2, Cemetery Prowler. Now, this card, 1 and 2 green, a 3/4 vigilance wolf creature. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, that's really interesting. It has or attacks as well. You exile a card from a graveyard, and the spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. Ooh, this is a really, really good creature. Probably the best creature, in my opinion, from the set. 3/4 for 3 mana with Vigilance is already good. And then whenever it ETBs or attacks, you're going to exile a card from graveyard. So it's got built in it graveyard removal. And then anytime you exile a card, if it's a different card type, that's going to be great for you because it's going to make all your spells cost 1 less to cast for those card types. So for example, if there's a creature and an instant in your opponent's graveyard and you've entered the battlefield, next turn you attack, now all your instants and your creatures are going to cost 1 less to cast. That's amazing. And it's going to continue to do that throughout the game. If you're playing artifacts or if you're playing planeswalkers, whatever it might be, and you're able to exile one of those card types from a graveyard, it can be your graveyard too, by the way, then it's going to cost things 1 less to cast. That is great. 3/4, you're going to be aggressive with it. It's going to stay back and defend as well. It's a great body, great card. I definitely can see this scene play in Pioneer. Standard, yes. Modern, I think, could have potential here in Modern. Just the ability to exile cards from graveyards is really important in older formats. Graveyards, as we know, are a great resource in older formats. Commander, not so much, I'm not sure, but I mean, you could definitely play it in Commander. I think this is more for constructed formats that are competitive. I think definitely more 60 card formats, this card will be seeing some play. And the ability that it not just ends battlefield, it attacks as well. So different to the Cemetery Gatekeeper that we saw number 5, that only had just an ETB trigger. This one has ETB or attacks. Great ability there to be able to use it, be aggressive, incentivizing you to attack there, and get some more reduction on your spells. All right, going down to our number 1 card, and our number 1 pick from Crimson Vow is Sauron the Mirthless, the Planeswalker, best Planeswalker from this set. 2 and 2 black, 4 starting loyalty. +1, look at the top card of your library, you may reveal that card and put it into your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. Interesting here because you look at the card before you draw it. If you want to draw it, then you lose life equal to its mana value. You reveal it. Sure, that's very reminiscent of Dark Confidant, but you have the flexibility of drawing it when you want to draw it and not drawing it if it's too much mana and you're going to take a lot of damage. You rather just wait till next turn. Perfect. +1 card advantage, really good. The -2 mitigates your life loss from your drawing, being able to create a 2/3 black vampire creature token with flying and lifelink. So that's not that bad of a rate of a creature, a 2/3 lifelink flying creature. Necessarily don't have to have this in a vampire deck either. This can go in any deck, really. I think this would be a good mid-range deck card. Being able to play this for your card advantage and also making a couple tokens that are not the greatest tokens, but they're definitely respectable in their ability to gain life and also be evasive. The -7, which is also if you ever get to it, should win you the game. I mean, it's not guaranteed to win you the game. It deals 30 damage to any target and you gain 13 life. The big swing in life totals. I guess if your versity deck has already got, combo or kind of something like that, and you're not able to kill it with a 30 damage, then it's not really that relevant. But we're really focusing more on the top two abilities here, the +1 and the -2. And I think this can definitely see play in standard, pioneer, modern. I think the 4-mana is hurting it. I don't think you can see play in modern, but definitely pioneer, definitely commander, definitely standard. Best planeswalker from the set. The other two planeswalkers were Kaya, which is care about tokens, and it's 3 mana, but I think it's too clunky to get it working well. And then Chandra, it's a 3 mana planeswalker as well, but it really focuses on red cards, and you want to be really focused on that color to be able to get the most out of Chandra herself. So definitely, I think has potential to be a good planeswalker. Not amazing, but it has the +1 ability, which is draw a card, and -2 to protect itself as well, which I think is really cool. So my pick for the best card from Crimson Vow. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what your favorite card from Crimson Vow is. As always, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of beautiful things. Everything on the stack has resolved, and good games, everyone.